Hi, I'm Becky Cadle. I'm a clinical EFT tapping practitioner and first responder mental health and wellness facilitator. And this here is a beginner's guide to EFT tapping. The purpose of this video is to tell you a little bit about EFT tapping, what it is and how and why it works, to show you the specific tapping points, and to give you a brief demo of how it's done. So without further ado, let's begin. EFT, short for Emotional Freedom Technique, is a powerful evidence-based healing modality that combines elements of ancient Chinese medicine and modern psychology. It's also commonly referred to as tapping, and for good reason, because it involves tapping on specific acupressure points on your body while talking about someone or something that is distressing. An oversimplified explanation that I like to use is acupuncture without the needles, or talk therapy meets energy psychology. You might be wondering, what's the difference between traditional talk therapy and EFT? Well, traditional talk therapy, certainly in my experience, of which I've had quite a bit, often just exposes the problem over and over and over again. Sometimes this can leave you feeling stuck, like you're on a perpetual hamster wheel, or worse, re-traumatized by repeatedly revisiting but never fully processing the distressing event, situation, or circumstance. EFT, on the other hand, does something unique. It excavates it, dislodges it from the root, from the body and subconscious mind where it's stored, leading to long-term, often permanent resolution. Let's talk a little bit about the power of the subconscious mind. Did you know that 90 to 95% of your thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, and behaviors are driven by your subconscious mind? That leaves a mere 5 to 10% to your conscious mind. I'm going to be really original here and use an iceberg to illustrate. The part of the iceberg that you see that is above the surface of the water represents your conscious mind. Here is where traditional talk therapy tends to focus. The part of the iceberg that you can't see that is beneath the surface of the water, which is much larger, represents the subconscious mind. Here is where EFT works its magic. It's what's underneath the surface that is steering the boat, so to speak. When you experience something distressing or traumatic, aka something that overwhelms your capacity to cope, your mind and body hold on to it. You may convince yourself that you're fine or that you've moved on, but the truth is your subconscious mind and body never forget. Triggers can lurk in unexpected places, just waiting to catch you off guard. Here's a real-world example to illustrate. Say you swerve your car to avoid hitting a bicyclist and end up T-boning another vehicle, right in front of a donut shop. Logically, you may walk away thinking, okay, accidents happen. I'm lucky to be alive. But days, weeks, months, even years later, you start to notice a pattern. Every time you see that donut shop, or any donut shop for that matter, in person, on TV, online, in a magazine, or elsewhere, you feel anxious. Your heart races whenever you hear the song that was playing in your car just before impact. Every time you see a man wearing a red t-shirt, it makes the hair on your arms stand up. You startle at the sight or sound of a bone breaking while watching a movie in the comfort of your own home. The smell of gas every time you refuel your car brings up feelings of unease. You may cry, shake, sweat, feel generally agitated or sick to your stomach, and you don't understand why. That's because the body and subconscious mind are still holding on to the trauma. And unfortunately, it's not likely to go away on its own. The good news is that EFT can help. How? By tuning into just one of those triggers, typically the one with the highest emotional intensity, while tapping and vocalizing specific words and phrases. This sends a calming signal to your body and nervous system that you're safe, because believe it or not, a part of you doesn't feel safe, and allows your subconscious mind to fully process and resolve the memory, thereby restoring, or perhaps establishing for the very first time, a sense of inner peace and equilibrium. It doesn't erase the memory, it neutralizes it, meaning you can recall it without feeling the emotional intensity you had grown so accustomed to feeling. Even better, you don't have to tap on every single trigger associated with the distressing memory. Often, just clearing one or two causes the rest to collapse on their own. Now it's time to show you the tapping points, but just a few things to keep in mind before I do that. First, to ensure you hit your target, so to speak, you'll want to use 2 fingers at least, typically the index and the middle finger, but it's really whatever you're most comfortable with. That said, while it is best to hit the exact point or to tap on the exact point, know that it is not an exact science. It is still going to be effective if you tap around or near the point. Second, light tapping is more than enough. Tapping harder or faster will not make a difference, except that you may hurt yourself. And third, in most cases, you can tap on both sides of the face and body or not. You can also stick to one side of the face and body, or you can alternate. It's really just a matter of personal preference and comfortability. There really is no right or wrong here. So the first point that I want to share with you is the karate chop or side of the hand. And it is the fleshy pinky side of your hand. The second point that I want to share with you is the top of your head. And you can find this point by taking the outside tip edge of your thumb and touching it to the upper tip of each ear. And then the point at which your middle finger, or for some of you, it might be your index finger, touches, that's where it is. Typically, I tell folks to just tap using the whole of their hand to ensure that you will catch that point. Next is the eyebrow point. This point can be found it's in between the bridge of the nose and the inside edge of the eyebrow. Next is the corner of the eye. So you want to tap as close to the corner of the eye as possible, as close as you can get without, of course, poking yourself in the eye. Next is under the eye. And this point is found by just tapping on the lower occipital bone. The next point is under the nose, and this is going to be between the base of your nose and your top lip. It's really going to be about 2/3 of the way up from your top lip, so maybe a little bit closer to the base of your nose. The next point is the chin point. That's going to be that little divot in between the tip of your chin and your bottom lip. So it's about midway in between. The next point is the collarbone point. This point can be found by first locating that U-shaped center point in between your two collarbones. You're going to go about 1/4 of an inch down from that U-shaped center point and then slightly out to each side, slightly out to the right and left. You can tap with both hands. You can tap one side or the other side, or you can use one hand and do it this way. The last point that I want to share with you is under the arm. And this one's going to be a little goofy, a little tricky to show you, but bear with me. I'm going to do the best that I can. So probably take the outside thumb edge of your hand and kind of just stick it on your armpit, and then where the tips of your fingers end, which is about where a bra strap would be, that's where the point is. So you can either tap like a monkey on both sides, or you could do it this way if it's comfortable for you, or you can just do this, or some people do this. Again, it's just a personal preference and whatever's comfortable for you. Now that I've shown you all the points, let's put it all together so that you can get a better idea of how a typical, albeit very general, round of tapping works. But first, if you're new to tapping, I just want to validate for you that it's completely normal to feel a little, or maybe even a lot, silly when you first start doing it. But if you can maintain an open heart and mind and push past that initial discomfort, you'll quickly reach a point where you won't think twice about it. Not to mention, once you experience EFT's amazing healing potential, you won't so much care if you feel or look silly. All right, let's do this. I decided to use the donut shop vehicle accident to demonstrate. The basic EFT tapping process begins by tuning into the trigger that has the highest emotional intensity. Now, that's not always going to be clear, but for demonstration purposes, let's just say it's the donut shop. If you recall in the example, I said that every time you see that specific donut shop or any donut shop, you feel anxious. And as you're guided to tune into that donut shop and the anxiety that it triggers, you begin to notice that it feels like there is a heavy weight just sitting on your chest and it's hard to breathe. Keeping all that in mind, here we go. Tap where I tap and repeat after me out loud or to yourself silently. In an actual tapping session or any tapping session with me, I always encourage only repeating what is or feels true for you. Here we go. Side of the hand. Even though I feel this anxiety in my chest when I see that donut shop, I choose to accept myself anyway. Still on the side of the hand. Even though I feel this anxiety like a heavy weight on my chest and it's hard to breathe, I choose to accept myself and how my body feels right now. One more time on the side of the hand. Even though I feel anxious when I just think about that donut shop, or any donut shop really, I can barely breathe. I'm just acknowledging how I feel, and I choose to honor and accept myself as best I can. Top of the head. This anxiety. Eyebrow point. All this anxiety in my body. Corner of the eye. Whenever I see that donut shop. Under the eye. Or any donut shop for that matter. Under the nose. I can really feel it in my chest. Chin point. It feels like a heavy weight just sitting on my chest, and it's hard to breathe. Collarbone. All this anxiety in my body. Under the arm. I'm just acknowledging it and giving it permission to be here. Okay. After a round of tapping, you would tune back into that donut shop and the anxiety that it triggered. And if it's still feeling pretty intense, you would just rinse and repeat as many times as necessary. Eventually, you'll find that you're no longer triggered by the donut shop. And you might even find that the intensity around some or all of the other triggers has abated as well. Tapping can be done on your own or with the guidance and support of a certified practitioner. Generally speaking, tapping on your own is great for when you feel triggered and simply want to get yourself back to a place of calm so that you can move on with your day. For more intense, deeply rooted issues, it's much more effective and beneficial to work with a certified practitioner if possible, whether it be with me or someone else, so you can receive the guidance and the support that you need, which includes seeing past your own blind spots. We all have them, myself included, and they can be a pretty big barrier to your ability to heal. That's a wrap. I hope you found this beginner's guide to EFT tapping both interesting and informative, and that maybe it even inspired you to give it a proper try. If you have any comments or questions about this presentation or EFT, or are interested in working with me one-on-one, feel free to leave a comment below or send me a private message via email listed here on this slide. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening, depending on whatever time it is that this video found you. Bye for now.